Hey everyone, this is my video on how to create an effective upper-lower routine. I've gone through a lot of routines over the years. I actually spent all of 2015 just program hopping and not a gain was made. I didn't get much stronger, I didn't get much bigger. That just goes to show you how important consistency is. What this video is going to do is just give you guys 6 tips. It is 6. Got 8 now. 8 tips on how to come up with an effective upper-lower routine. You beginners, you should probably jump on a full body routine, one that's designed to build foundational strength, and then you can go on and do your more advanced, or not even, this is really not advanced, or really more intermediate type programs. Okay, tip number 1, you need to have an overall plan or a macro cycle. So a macro cycle is like the whole yearly plan. Now, you don't have to be Mr. Exercise freaking science and write up like this table like in Excel and go nuts. You just need to have a good idea of, okay, so in the month of May, we're in May now. What do you know? Well, but in the month of May, I'm gonna work on my strength and that's it. And then in the month of June, I'm gonna work on my hypertrophy. And in the month of July, I almost forgot. Alright. I'm gonna work on my power. And this obviously depends on, that's really general, oh my god, people are gonna be like, well, that's just a stupid way to, but relax. But that was just like a way to go about it. It obviously depends on who you are as a trainee, so what stage of the season you're in, if you're an athlete, and what your goals are should all form that macro cycle as a whole. If you're an in-season athlete, then you need to have that in your macro cycle and then program from that. So everything has to make sense. Okay, so undulate is my second tip, number 2. And you can do that in any way. You can do like your daily undulating periodization where you have just an undulating rep scheme like that, like the repeated effort day, max effort day, dynamic effort day, which is the same sort of, it's still DUP, daily undulating periodization. You could undulate every block in the overall macro cycle. Then you have your mesocycles. You can undulate every mesocycle. Your microcycles, that's 7-day period. Like vary the acute exercise variables in order to have performance outcome. Okay, number 3 is make frequency a priority, and this is why I really like your upper-lower routines, because frequency is a priority. Now, you need to disperse volume across the microcycle, so across the week, so that frequency is a priority. So if you are someone who does 50 reps of bench press a week, so you do 3 by 5 on one day, which is your 15 reps, or you fill the rest of those reps on another day with another horizontal push if you like your variety, or you can do bench press again with a bit higher reps. That way volume's dispersed and where there's frequency there and you train the pattern again. Okay, so tip number 4 is to avoid overreaching, or actually don't avoid overreaching, that's a good thing. You need to avoid non-functional overreaching, or NFOR, by manipulating these acute exercise variables like perceived rate of exertion, which is how hard something is, so your perception of the exertion. The reps in reserve, so how many reps you need to leave in the tank, and this is another great way to manage cumulative fatigue. You can use your percent of 1 rep max, which is a lot more accurate than going off like a scale that's a little subjective. Like I've got 2 reps in the tank and that was probably 8 out of 10 for difficulty. Tip number 5 is scheduling deloads. This is going to help you avoid your non-functional overreaching and then further moving up the overtraining continuum, because overtraining is like a continuum. It's a description of terms used, it's a description of really nouns that describe cumulative fatigue along like a spectrum. So it's not just like, yeah bro, I'm overtraining, it's like, I have non-functionally overreached. Sounds pretty funny, but that's how it really works. When you do like hit that real massive threshold, it could take like months to like maybe even a year to get back to normal, and that's called overtraining syndrome. So yeah, deloads, do them anywhere from 4 weeks to every 5th week. I wouldn't recommend going 6 or 8 weeks without a deload, because you start to feel it, especially into the next block. Okay, so tip number 6 is to have a template for all your days, and then you can just like get all fancy and throw in some other stuff in there. Really, to keep it simple, let's do like an upper body day template. I would do something like a vertical and horizontal push, a vertical and horizontal pull, and then some arm stuff. At the beginner intermediate stage, or even up to the intermediate stage, if you're thinking about like, what about my rear delts? Well, your rear delts are gonna get blasted by doing all sorts of like movements like that. And if you're really doing things properly, like pinching your scap back and really recruiting all those muscles, shouldn't be really any need to go nuts with the rear delt flies and all that stuff. You can do that stuff if you want to, and that's where you can get a bit creative and do some really cool stuff. Alright, so my last tip, which is actually tip 7, not tip 6, my number's tip 8 or whatever the hell it is. This is tip number 7, and it's superset or like superset antagonist muscle groups in order to save some time in the gym. That could be for any real program, but doing an upper lower makes it pretty easy because you can go my horizontal push with my bench, and then you can go vertical pull, which can be a chin up. You can go like 1A bench press with all your acute exercise variables, rest a minute, 1B chin ups, all your acute exercise variables, rest anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds, even a little bit longer if you really need to, depends on how heavy you're going, of course, and it depends on a bunch of other acute exercise variables and stresses of life. Whew! So they're my tips on how to create an effective upper lower routine. I hope you guys found that really informative and educational and, well, hilarious edits to come. Thank you very much, and speak to you guys next time.